G'day guys, what's going on? Super here. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully everyone's going really well and excited for the footy season to start. So the practice games have just finished up, which is amazing for our teams. Nearly there. Opening round is this week, so they've had to postpone a few games due to the cyclone, which is unfortunate. So hopefully the people in Queensland and Brisbane are going to be right for that one, which, it's a bit of a stitch up, but, it does mean for our SuperCoach teams, some players are going to only have one bye instead of two now, so that's all right, like the Geelong players and the Brisbane players. So maybe some of the guys that we haven't considered are more of a starting option now, so that's good. But anyway, this was the last team that I had from the channel, so I've got like Mills and Coleman in there, so a few injuries have gone on, so I've got to update the side here to something that I'm, considering starting for round one now. So we've got Mills, get rid of him. Coleman has to go. Who else? Jagger Smith is unfortunate for the Carlton fans out there. Lylor got injured as well, which is no good. Darcy, he should be back by round 3 or 5, so probably just have to give him the flick anyway. And Filippo, that's been a long time since I've uploaded, But yeah, he has to go as well. There's some players that are already missing from my side. I'll just go over the existing side at the moment. So Sheasel, I was actually considering fading him, but after his practice game, definitely can't do that anymore. He's just like a lock at this point. He scored like 170 SuperCoach points, I believe it was. So definitely need to start him. And then McGovern, I've had him in my team like all season, like all pre-season basically, and you got to have a bit of fun with SuperCoach. I think he's the guy that I'm just going to start. I started him last year, did pretty well, got into the top 400, so I think that McGovern will help me get there again. I'll just back him in, and now he's got no one else taking the kick-ins, so he's going to be the main guy back there, like I've said in the other videos. And I think I just need to start him because I'd be annoyed if I didn't start him and I had all this hype around him throughout the preseason. But yeah, I think I'm just going to lock him into my side. Holmes is another one who's like probably worth starting at this point. So I've got a couple team options where I might actually start Holmes, but I think I'd have to get rid of McGovern for that to happen. So unlikely at this point. He did have like a really good match simulation against the Hawks, but then in the practice game didn't score as well. So bit of a concern there. His role still isn't 100% there, but you would expect him to be playing in the midfield round one. But Chris Scott, he likes to keep secrets. So for me, like I can definitely see people starting him. I just think I'd rather have McGovern because I know he's a top 6 defender. Whereas Holmes, not too sure about that, but he's most likely going to be one. But for the moment, I'll just take him out of the side, even though, he doesn't have the bye in round 3 anymore. So it is a bit more appealing to have Max Holmes. But I think I'll just go with McGovern. Then we have Allen here on the field. So in the practice game, he didn't score that great. I think he was on like -12 or something throughout the majority of the game. I'm not sure what his final score was, but wasn't that great. So I think we'll just give him the flick. But to be fair, I think that he will be someone that should be able to get games each week for West Coast. So he does have the job security there if you were looking for him. He could just come good as well later throughout the season. But for the moment, I think I can't take the risk, so I'll just get rid of him there. And Trevalgia, he's a bit expensive. I could see him doing better than we expected. Didn't have the greatest practice game. But for 172k, I think I'm just going to have to get rid of him as well. And then Reed, he played well, so I think we'll keep him. So he should make a bit of coin there for us. In the midfield, we've got Sarong here. So Sarong, I don't know about Sarong. I think I might have to start him. It's either him or Neil at the moment with the current bye setup with Brisbane being postponed to like playing round 3, I think it is. So it's either Sarong or Neil for me at the moment, but I think I'll go with Neil just for this video. But it could change back to Sarong. He does have a very nice fixture. didn't score the greatest in the practice game or even in the Indigenous All-Stars game. So I don't know, maybe they're just resting him for round one and he's going to go nuts from there on. So probably makes sense to go Sarong over Neil, with Neil having a limited pre-season, but I just really do like the look of Neil's fixture. I think he's going to go nuts in the first couple of weeks, and that could really put you ahead in the rankings and could be a good captaincy option as well. Cripps, I don't mind it. Very nice fixture. As I've mentioned earlier in past videos, I do like the fixture a lot there. The Bulldogs now don't really have anyone in the midfield with like Bont going down, so probably will get the tag in round 2 though. I'll just get rid of him at this point. I think there's other options that are better. And then Horn Francis, I have him in the midfield, but I have to bring him down to the forward line. And then Oliver's a lock, so we'll keep him. And Chera, I think Chera is the same with Cripps. You're saving a lot of coin with Chera, probably going to score the same. And yeah, the fixture is looking great. Should be a good luxury upgrade later in the season, but I feel like could even be a keeper, honestly. But it's a big call to make. But yeah, the fixtures is amazing. But yeah, it shouldn't be going too heavily off the fixture, but still, I think it's just, you got to do it. Sid Draper, I haven't really liked the look of him, like as of such, just because he could be sub risk, and yeah, there's other guys at 190k that are probably better off better than him anyway. So probably get him out of the side as well. Langford, I think he was my prediction for the rising star, but looks like Petrarca's back to his best, so not too sure about how much CBA action Langford's going to get now, and he didn't score the greatest in the practice game, so I'll probably just get rid of him. And then Kako's going to stay, and then Sard, his name is Sard, I believe, yeah. I don't think he played in the practice game, so we'll just get rid of him as well. We'll keep Cherry, he dominated, so I was actually considering not going Cherry for a bit there, but I feel like, he's a must-have at this point. He's been tackling, which is great. Scored like a 140, I believe, in the practice game against Flynn, so not a bad opponent. But I feel like, I'd be spewing if I didn't start him and he started going nuts. He does have a harder fixture. That's why I didn't want to pick him. Like, got English, Gawn, Rob. Who else? Like Grundy will be back. Witts. De Koning probably scored really well against him. And then, Sweet Draper starts to free up a bit there. But the first 5 rounds, bit of a hard matchup in terms of ruck opponents. So, I don't think he's going to be most likely a top 2 ruck. So might as well just start him now. Just cop the bad scores if he does score bad against them. But most likely he'll score well. McRae, we've got to keep him. He seems to be keeping up with like Jack Steele in terms of scoring. So, and for 392k, he's scoring better than him in the practice game as well. So he could be the main guy at this point, because Steele does seem to go missing throughout the games from past experiences owning Steele. But who knows? Steele is a guy I haven't really considered in the midfield as of much. He's 1% ownership. We want him to do well, but he just never seems to do well. He does have nearly a 110 average, but I don't know. It's just after the practice game, it's just a no for me. But if you want to take a risk, maybe go for him, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. And then we got Bailey Smith here. Didn't play in the practice game. Played in the match simulation, sorry. So for the moment, I think he could probably be a top 6 forward. I'll just keep him in the team now that the Cats aren't having the round 3 bye. So I think I'll just keep him. And Daniel is in like 73% of teams. Could be a keeper if he's going to be scoring well, which he scored 113, which is nuts. Lynch didn't play in the practice game, I believe, so I'm just going to give him the flick. Haven't seen much from him. Could be a good cash cow, but yeah, I don't like the thought of him getting like double tagged down back with like 2 players on him being the main forward, but who knows if that even happens or not. But I just have cold feet on him, so probably won't go there. And then Hewitt, I think he's going to stay on my side for the moment. Seems to be able to lock down a spot by round 1, I would imagine, for West Coast. Erasmus, I'll get rid of him. I think he didn't have the greatest practice game, but could be a guy that does maintain his spot in the side. So don't see him as a bad option. It's just I think there's other guys that have better potential for the moment. So I'll get rid of him. Now Martin, I believe he played in the VFL game, but I'll have to double check that one. 150k. It's just a no-go from me. So that's just that's the bones of my team at the moment. I'm going to have to fix it up here. So players that I definitely want to start, like I feel bad if I didn't start him. I think it's Nank. I think I want to start Nank as my R2 over De Koning, just because I know De Koning, he's got Pitnet coming back. Yes, he'll probably make some money for us, which is nice, but then you might have to trade him when Pitnet comes back. So I just don't really want to do that. I think Nankervis is the guy to go with. He's got a very nice fixture to go nuts in the start of the season. Like he'll verse De Koning round 1, should go pretty well against him. Sweet, nice matchup. Marshall, like the ruck opponents usually score well against Marshall. The Big O, I think he'll dominate him. And then who knows if Darcy's back or not by round 5. Witts, Gorn is probably hard. This is probably a harder block here, but pretty nice starting fixture. I think, Nankervis is looking like he's in his prime now. So I had him last year, had him and Cherry last year. So I think I'm just going to back them in again this year. They really helped me boost up the ranks last year. So I think I'm just going to back them in again. It'd feel wrong for me if I didn't start him. Otherwise, I'd be looking at, in like a different world, I'd be looking at, what's his name? De Koning in the ruck there, in the flex position, but it doesn't really make much sense for me. I'd rather Flynn there. So I'll probably keep Flynn. He'll make us a bit of cash, and then we can convert Flynn into someone else later on, maybe like Dacos or someone. But yeah, the rucks are pretty sorted there for me. And then in defence, I think the issue is in defence now. So we need to stack up our scoring possibilities in defence. I'll keep McGovern for the moment. I think that, as I've said, I've had him in the side for most of the videos, the preseason. So I'll just keep him in there. I'm excited about what he can produce. He's a bit expensive and a bit older. I think he's turning 33 this year. But, he's the main guy down back, gets all the kick-ins. And, the fans say how fit he's looking. He was, he did have a bit of tape on his thumb in the practice game, which was slightly concerning. Didn't score the greatest, only like an 80 or something. But I just feel like I've got to start him, so I'm just going to go with my gut here. And then in defence, I think we're just going to stack defence up with some other guys. So Stephen May's actually an interesting one. I might actually keep on the watch list. I really wanted to get him in draft, but someone stole him, so that's unfortunate. But he's a bit the same as McGovern. I think he's got the monopoly down back where he's just going to take all the kick-ins. And I think he played really well in the Indigenous All-Stars game and had a pretty nice practice game as well, scoring 111. So he could be undervalued there. I'll probably someone that I'll look at trying to get in later on if he does start going nuts. But for the moment, I'll give him the miss. He's a bit of a pod, 1% ownership. I think he looks fit. So I wish I could get him in, but I don't think I can afford him. Like over the other guys, like Short, 22% ownership. I think the roles there seem to score well in the practice game and, take majority of the kick-ins. So I don't think anyone else has really popped up in Richmond taking the kick-ins down back. So Short should be pretty sweet. And then Roberts, we like the look of him. Scored really well in the practice game. I think it was like 110 plus. Taking majority of the kick-ins, which is nice. And then we'll grab Perryman. So his ownership is definitely boosted up. I think he scored like 130 or something. Bit of mid-action, which is nice. So fully stacked in defence now, just because Ed Allen and Trevallier don't seem to be able to score very well for their roles. But the talent's there. It's just with Ed Allen, I'm not too sure about. Bo Allen, sorry, if he's going to turn out to be a good pick or not, but he could be. I feel like with West Coast taking him first for their first selection in the draft, they'll play him a fair bit, and he'll probably just get better throughout the year. But yeah, and then on the bench I've got Pryor bloke here. Seemed to score pretty well, so I think he can be someone to field, and Reed will score well as well, so that's nice. Could play both of them on the field, but I think it's a bit too risky to have two rookies on the field in defence for scoring anyway. And then who else did I have here? I had, who was it? Bice. Yeah, Bice. We got him there, so he played in the practice game. Looked like he can score a 60 plus, so that's nice. I believe it was 60, maybe it was 50, but not too bad for a 113k rookie. Into the midfield now, so this is where it's gets a bit interesting with the updated games being changed around and stuff like that. I think for the moment I'll go Neil. I just think that I know he has had an interrupted pre-season, which is a bit concerning, but probably will get tagged in round 1 against Sydney, but don't know how well James Jordan will match up. Last time he did get to him, so that's a bit of a concern, but the fixture is just screaming out massive scores if he's going to be the main guy throughout the start of the season. West Coast Richmond back-to-back. That's just two captain options back-to-back, which was pretty nice. He doesn't even have the round 3 bye, so probably play the Cats in the round 3 bye there. And the midfield is a bit questionable, so it could be 3 back-to-back games, you would imagine there. So pretty juicy fixture. But yeah, if you didn't want to go Neil, I'd probably just go Sarong. I don't know. I'm not too sure about Sarong. I like his bye, but I think Neil, with the early fixture, I'll probably go him. Sarong, he's got a similar sort of fixture as well. Got Richmond and West Coast coming up as well pretty early, and the Cats, so pretty similar. He's had a full pre-season, makes sense, save a bit of coin, grab him. But for me at the moment, I've just got Neil in there. And then I think I'm going to go the value route and just pick up Petrarca at the start of the season. It's a bit risky. He has had an interrupted pre-season as well, but came back into the practice game, looked very nice with the 100 and I forget what he scored. I think it was pretty high in fantasy. He scored 130, but not as good in SuperCoach. But I feel with Petrarca, he's most likely going to be a keeper. So it could be a keeper in the forward line as well, is what I'm meaning to say. So I might as well just grab him now. They have a very nice fixture as well. Probably does get a tag in round 1. Him or Oliver, who knows. North, but they have a pretty nice just fixture in general. They play West Coast twice. Pretty easy fixture. They got North twice as well, but North are a bit better this year. But yeah, they could do a lot better than people expect in terms of their finish for the season, but it's unlikely that they'll be in the top 8 in my opinion. But anyway, doesn't really matter. So Petrarca, I'll just grab him now just in case he does get the forward DPP status, and I'm trying to scramble to get him in around round 6. I'll just get him in now. If he does get the status in the forward line, that's great. Just swing him in there. If he doesn't, then that's all right. Could just be a keeper in the midfield. Questionable if he's going to be top 8 or not, but I think that's a risk I'm willing to take there. And then, so we'll keep Oliver and Chera, which these guys are going to be pretty good for us, you would imagine. So we've got 4 spots here. I think I'm just going to grab rookies. Bit of an interesting structure here. So starting us off, we'll grab O'Sullivan, 33% ownership. Could be O'Driscoll instead. I think the thing with O'Sullivan is Not too sure about his role with like Simpkin not being in the side, Parker not being in the side, and he scored like 99. I don't know if he's going to back it up every week. And also, there's also the they were playing West Coast as well, so not the greatest team to be versing. But for the moment, it's O'Sullivan. Could be O'Driscoll. We'll just keep O'Sullivan in here for the moment, and then grab Sardis. So with the injury report news about what's his name, Darcy Parish being TBC, I thought he was going to be back by round 4, but looks like it's TBC now. So Sardis is a must-have, I would imagine, at this point. And then we'll grab Ashcroft. Could be sub-risk, but doubt it. I think they'll play him in the early rounds, especially the nice fixture. Surely they play him. And then just having a look at my notes, get Sheldrick in, 31% ownership, scored very well in the practice game. So he's someone who'll make us a lot of money. I doubt he'll get dropped. Well, he should be named in the side. I believe they play Friday night it is. So yeah, another wait and see. We still get another game to have a look at Sheldrick, so that's good. And then in the midfield, get Nevitt in here. So Chris Scott said that apparently, he had a really good pre-season. They're going to run the guys through the midfield, so Nevitt is likely to get some more midfield time and actually be playing in the side, so that's good. And then just trying to remember, I think I had Max Hall in here just for the swing as well. I've got Kako anyway, so there's a swing, but I think that's how I had the team, just trying to squeeze the cash out of it. And then in the forward line, who else do we have? So Horn Francis, obviously. Horn Francis, McRae and Daniel could all be keepers. Well, most likely they will be keepers for the forwards anyway. I think that's pretty standard. And then lowest prices. Scroll down a bit. I think a bit of a mid-tier player, mid-pricer. Grab Hugo Garcia, 15% ownership. I think now with like Filippo out, and he scored like about 87, I believe it was, in the practice game, so should make us a fair bit of cash. He's only averaging like 45 here, so I think that he's a good selection. And then we got to get, who was it, Davidson? Davidson had a really good practice game score, so what was he priced at? I can't remember. A bit cheaper, 53% ownership, so yeah, I think you definitely have to pick him at this point. And to round it out, we'll grab, is it Patton? Where is he? Ben Patton, 9%. Leaves me with 11k, so I probably have to fix up that Max Hall pick here. Just not too sure who I would get. Could just run a loophole if I wanted to maximise the cash. I think I just have to pick Max Hall. Don't know who else is here. It's a bit, could grab a loophole otherwise. Boxall, I think, Boxall, yeah, grab him. I think he scored well in the practice game. So yeah, that's not a bad lineup here. So this is what I'm thinking my side will look like. But we do have the opening round still to decide. To watch like the Sydney Collingwood players, who else, GWS and Hawthorn players. But yeah, for the moment, this is what the side's looking like. I was actually thinking of another strategy where I could go start like a Max Holmes, but I feel like this is the team structure that I like the most at this point in time. I could swap this. This would be another one. I could just go with Sarong here. Get rid of Sullivan. Not too sure about his role. Get rid of McGovern, which I don't really like to do that one. But wonder if I can work it out, actually, if I keep McGovern. Who was I going to select is the question. I was going to grab... maybe if I get O'Driscoll here. who do I just get rid of? O'Sullivan. Just get O'Driscoll and then someone else down back. I mean, this could be another option as well. Just bring Pryor back in. Doesn't look like there's anyone else really here that you could get. Cleary. Pryor looks like he's got better job security though. So yeah, I think the area that I'm looking at changing is probably the M1 and this rookie spot. So this could be still undecided, either Sarong or Neil, but for the moment, I think I'll go with Neil. I think he just is a dominant Supercoach player, but there is the interrupted preseason, which is a bit concerning there. The other option that I was looking at was if I didn't start McGovern, which not sure if I'm going to do this or not. I'd get Holmes in. Doesn't have the round 3 bye anymore. That leaves me with like about 78k. And then I'll get rid of O'Driscoll and Pryor. And then I would bring in a mid-pricer. It's a bit of a pod, a guy that's going under the radar a little bit. Some people have been talking about him though. Jack Ross. And then I'd just get a rookie here, which probably would have been Patton. Who else is there? It's because it starts to... the depth starts to wear off at this price point. There's Leak, so yeah, could do that. It's another one, another option you could do. I don't mind Jack Ross. I think like out of the other guys, like he scored 99 in the practice game. Unlikely you'll ever get tagged. It will just be Taranto getting tagged. And he could make us like 150k quite easily. You would imagine. I think the roles there, he's going to get the CBAs. Where the other guys, you're questioning their role. Like O'Sullivan, not sure about him. This guy's like 110k more though. That is a bit concerning. And then it's like, who else are you going to get at this price? 300k, you could probably pay up and get Peatling, but I think that Ross has more opportunity than Peatling, so I think that he's probably the one to go for, to be honest. And he's got a nice buy in round 14, I think it is. So yeah, he could be a bit of a pod to start. I don't mind it, but in this sense, I'm missing out on McGovern, which who knows? You know, Holmes could outdo McGovern, to be fair. But it is a bit of a question mark. What do I do? But yeah, that's the main changes I'm most likely going to make before round 1. Is it this position here, D2, M1, and M5. I think otherwise the team is pretty much set in stone at this point. Bailey Smith is actually another one who might get the flick as well if he's not named by round 1. But I think I'll just start him. There's a fair chance he could be a keeper in the forward line. But yeah, this is how I like the team at the moment, like how I'm thinking of starting. Probably rambling on a bit too much here, but that's like my thoughts at the moment. Ross kind of just gives you the peace of mind that he's going to be in the midfield 24/7, whereas the other guys you're not really sure about where they're going to be playing. And Holmes, you know, he's got the upside in him, so not a bad side there. But I think for the moment, just put McGovern in there and grab O'Sullivan, bring him back in, and Pryor, I think he's another cash cow. But in fairness, all these other guys in defence, they're a lot cheaper. They could still make the same amount of coin as Pryor anyway, so maybe the other way is the way to do it. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. I don't mind the pick there at all. But is like Pryor a guy that we need to have? Not too sure. 7% ownership. But yeah, hopefully you guys have got your teams like pretty much sorted out as well. And yeah, leave a comment down below, like what you're thinking. And yeah, if you haven't joined my league, I think we still have some spots available. So the league code is 905 377. We still need 4 more people. So if you want to join, made it to the end, join the league. There will be a prize for the winner. And otherwise, if you're into doing footy tips, I don't think anyone's really joined my footy tipping, but it is what it is. I don't really care. Bit of fun. This is my footy tipping league here. So 563 and then 086. So there's 3 people in there. Not too many people, but bit of fun if you're into doing that as well. So yeah, hopefully everyone's keen and ready for footy to start. I'm certainly keen for it. So let's get into it. But thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Cheers.